Trail running, hill sprinting, mountain parkouring through the woods dressed as an 11th century Danish Viking. I've been doing a lot of this stuff lately. I'm hooked. I mean it too, hooked. I drive all this way up into the mountains to go lift rocks or to do some tree pull-ups or downhill pike push-ups or something like that, and I just end up running around. It's screwed me over a few times. I go for way too long and my calves end up so sore I have trouble walking my dogs. It burns through so much fuel I can't seem to out-eat the energy demand. I'm trying to not be so lean and shredded after the last cut I did, but the sprinting has other plans for me. Trail running isn't like exercise at all. It's straight up play. It's fun and addicting. Funny thing though, it actually happens to be one of the greatest forms of exercise there is and ever has been. The benefits I've seen from it have gone well beyond what I expected. I'll get to those soon, but first, something I've noticed. When you go running on the trail, you're more likely to see trail runners. Maybe it's because you travel more distance, so there's more opportunity, or maybe like just attracts like. I've seen a lot of them in any case. I also live in a relatively fit part of the country, so I see people jogging past where I live a lot too, and as a lifter slash bodybuilder, the difference between the two is clear as day. The joggers are usually lean, generally fit, but these trail runners are built different. Said in the coolest ways I could think of, they've got legs like some kind of Platz-obsessed squat fiend, and glutes that almost seem too big. I don't think that's actually possible, but I've seen a couple people with such disproportionately large glutes it almost seems comical. Male and female, by the way. Maybe they're all like me, lifters who think trail running is cool. Maybe it's the trail running itself that causes the muscular development. Either way, the connection is impossible to miss. It makes me feel bad for all those who have been led to believe they need to spend their lives training in the most boring, optimal bro kind of ways because they don't know there's more out there. When faced with a choice between ultra slow leg curls in the leg press and sprinting up a mountain, for me at least, I'd never hit the gym again. Okay, now let's get into some reasons why trail running is good. I have 5 of them. Oh, and I should say I'm talking about running fast here, sprinting, or as close to sprinting as you can get moving over rough terrain, not slow moving long distance running. I'm sure that works great too, it's just not what I've been doing. First is fat loss. I've mentioned this already, but trail running gets you shredded. I've experienced this enough times now to know there's something special about it. To give you a few examples, back in May I was a few pounds into my cut and I went to chill in the mountains for a few days. I decided to live it up, screw the diet, I ate insane quantities of ultra dense foods, and I also started trail running every day after not doing it for a long time. When I got home a week later, I was down another 2 pounds. I figured I'd have gained at least 5. Nope. Example 2, like I said, I'm currently trying to bulk, I'm force feeding daily, and this trail running is so efficient at burning energy I can't seem to keep up. Example 3, back maybe 5 years ago I was still pretty small but had some size. I started doing hill sprints with my dog because it was fun, and my abs started to pop. There are many more examples of this, I'm sure. If you have any stories, please share them so we can drive this point home. Running fast gets you lean. The second and third reasons to go trail running are really just here because I like them. Hopefully you'll think these things are cool too, but to start, trail running is just awesome. Pair it with some badass historical trousers and leg wraps and some kind of wool or linen Viking age tunic, and it feels like you've come straight out of a video game or traveled back in time. Running is about as ancient or primal or wilded as it gets if you're into that kind of thing, and going out into the woods and running around, especially when you've taken on the role of a historic or fantastic warrior, makes it so easy to leave the modern world behind and just exist for a while, to just have fun, something many of us forget how to do more often than we'd like to admit. Reason 3, and here's that special word, it's functional. I don't know about you, but I've always had this hope deep down that one day there will be some kind of apocalypse we'll have to get through, something that just completely changes up the order of things. I don't mean to say I want a bunch of people to die or for all the bad things that actually come along with that to happen, but some kind of movie or TV-inspired luxury apocalypse where your survival comes down to your ability to function as a human sounds pretty cool. Screw working at a desk 100 years to pay for a house, you just go build one in the woods because land ownership is a thing of the past. Or you find one abandoned by someone else and claim it for you and your family. You just go with it and forget all the internet stuff. This thought is 100% a product of living in an easy and comfortable phase of history, by the way. I accept that, but what you gonna do? It's like that saying, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Well, I think the hidden secret behind that is everyone from each phase dreams of the other, never knowing what the other actually means. This is easy, or at least easy in the wrong way, give me something physically challenging. Or this sucks, dang, give me something easier, and so on. Anyway, I think trail running is at least in the top 3 most functional ways to train. If you want to move fast through the woods, something that would likely need to happen at some point in any apocalyptic survival scenario, you'll need to build a lot of things you don't get running on concrete. Your mind needs to learn to stay alert for obstacles. Your joints and muscles and bones need to learn how to keep going when you're constantly landing on uneven terrain. You need to train yourself to not roll an ankle or hyperextend a knee. It's surprising how much more it takes to run off-road. I think that's actually what makes me like it so much. I don't plan on ever going jogging in town again. It's dull and leaves my body feeling beat up, but running on the trail is fun. It's like an obstacle course, and because it's full of obstacles, you never end up with that repetitive motion joint fatigue that comes with running on never-ending flat ground. At least that's how it goes for me. Reason number 4 to do some trail running, it improves power and athleticism, and it does so in a way that has a very low barrier to entry. Here's something to illustrate the point. Say you have a sandbag on your lap, you just lifted it off the ground and you're taking a few breaths, preparing, and you know you need to bring every ounce of explosive power you have to lift it up to chest height or you won't have any chance of shouldering it. But for some reason, it feels like there's a block, like there's something holding you back from giving it your all. You know you have the power, you know what you need to do, but for some reason you can't tap into that power completely. In my book, I compare this to those dreams where you're being chased and you can't get away because for some reason you're stuck running in slow motion. This is a common thing with any kind of power sport, especially those that don't come with any extra incentive attached. A back squat, as an example, gives you no choice. Full power on the way up from the bottom or get crushed. A power clean though, if you miss, the bar just falls back down. It's completely on you to create that do or die energy. Well, this feeling can happen with sprinting too, only I found it's a much easier hurdle to jump. Sprinting is just you. There's no heavy weight, no special skill or breathing and bracing to think about. You're able to focus everything on pushing harder with every step, tapping into that well of power you know you have without any other distractions. Of course, there is skill to sprinting. It's just different when you don't need to worry about maneuvering a heavy object. This makes sprinting invaluable for anyone who does heavy power-based lifting. The more times you can force yourself through that running in slow motion feeling, the more reps you get in, the better you get at doing it with any type of lifting. An easier time tapping into full power mode and less hesitation means a more athletic person, period. Reason number 5 to go running through the woods, muscle. I know I mentioned this earlier in the video, but it's worth repeating. Trail running, sprinting uphill, again parkouring as a Viking off trail, it hits the glutes and legs hard. The soreness after that first workout isn't something you're likely to get in the same way with any other single exercise. The calves, in my experience, especially when going barefoot or wearing barefoot shoes, get worked so hard you're likely to have trouble walking normally for a few days after. The hamstrings feel like they're about to rip off the bone in the best kind of way. The glutes end up sore like you just spent the day doing ultra range of motion reverse lunges. The quads are left with a feeling bordering on growing pains like when you were younger. Sure, soreness doesn't necessarily mean muscle growth, but in general, I think it's a pretty good way to determine which muscles an exercise works. I sincerely believe anyone could get near bodybuilding level leg development from trail running alone. Pair that with everything else, and it should be clear why it's worth your time. If you liked this video, consider checking out my new book, Sandbag Hypertrophy, over on Amazon. Link below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.